What's up, guys? It's a Monday. Doesn't it feel like a Monday? Holy cow. I'll tell you what it feels like. It feels like October outside. Today, our highs will be in the 60s. This will be the coolest high temperatures, or the lowest highs ever recorded on August 4th. The previous record lowest high was 73 more than a century ago, back in 1912. So it has been, 113 years? And even then it was 6 degrees warmer. So this is incredibly rare for us to see this kind of cool air in place. And it's pretty much because we're going to see rain and clouds all day, and we're in that wedge of cool air. You could see a very heavy rain moving into North Georgia right now. Due to a stationary front to our south, it just looks like a sloppy mess here. You can see those scattered showers are really starting to move in from the south. That heavier rain going to reach Metro Atlanta around noon, so in about an hour, and it will continue through the afternoon. I do want to show you guys power outages, because just in the last 30 minutes, we've seen a lot of just power outages start to spike. The reason for that is, even though we're not seeing severe weather, there's a breeze coming in from the east at about 15 miles per hour. And we're seeing gusts up to 30 because the ground's so saturated. Some of these areas have seen 3-4 inches of rain. You guys know we live in a forest. Those trees can come down a lot easier when that ground is soggy, okay? So just even a light breeze can cause power outages. There's 4,000 people in Fulton County without power, and 100 over in Athens, Clark County. I expect that number to increase this afternoon. So just be aware, because we're not going to see severe weather, but because the ground's so saturated, there is that shot at power outages today. And there's also a risk of flash flooding this afternoon from Atlanta off to the east, from Gainesville down to Athens, Eatonton. A moderate risk of flash flooding today. I don't think we're going to see like significant flooding on the roads, but creeks and rivers certainly could flood today. Okay. So again, storm threats, moderate risk for flooding, and moderate risk for high winds. Just because the ground's saturated, we could see some down trees. We're not going to see any hail. I don't think we're going to see any lightning today. We don't really have much instability in the atmosphere because it's so cool. Okay. So I have that first alert going through 5 or 6 p.m. So between now and about 6, that's when the rain's going to be the heaviest, the most widespread. And those showers will continue this evening. We may see a little dry streak after 5 p.m., but then we're going to see more heavy rain overnight. There is a flood watch in effect until 8 p.m. If I had to guess, would say that the National Weather Service may extend that through tomorrow, because it also looks like we could see some heavy rain tomorrow. I'm showing you the latest model. I believe this is the graphs. This is the 12Z, so it just came in a few minutes ago. It's showing that heavy rain through 3 p.m., lasting through 7 p.m., so it could end up being pretty rainy all day today. Now, I will say this model's bringing less rain in tomorrow, certainly scattered light showers in the morning with some spotty rain in the afternoon, but I will say the previous runs had really heavy rain tomorrow morning. So while I think tomorrow afternoon we will see improvements, there's still a shot of those showers, pretty heavy rain tomorrow for the morning commute. This is just one rainfall estimate today and tomorrow, an additional 2 to 3 inches of rain in places like Atlanta, Canton, Gainesville, up into the mountains. Athens, more than 3 inches of rain. The good news is East Georgia is actually not included in the flood watch, because East Georgia into the mountains, you guys actually stayed relatively dry this weekend, so the ground's not as saturated there. Areas like Rome, parts of Floyd County, y'all, on Saturday night saw like 8 inches of rain. That's crazy. It looks like that's the area that will see the least amount of rain. So that's one piece of good news. But again, certainly some flash flooding through tomorrow, okay? So 100% chance of rain today, 80% tomorrow. That may end up dropping a little bit with that recent data that came in. I still would plan on just icky conditions through about 2 p.m. tomorrow. Then we'll start to dry out. It looks like Wednesday and Thursday will be mostly dry, okay? But we got to talk about this weekend. See how the rain chance, let me go back. See how that rain chance shoots up on Friday back to 50%? That may be due to a tropical system. And we have not talked about the tropics much this year because there just hasn't been anything going on. But we're watching this area. This is the area that I'm talking about for this weekend, right off of the South Carolina-Georgia coastline, where a low pressure system could form. We could see a tropical depression, maybe a tropical storm. If that were to form, we could see some heavy rain from that this weekend. Right now, it looks like the heaviest rain for us here in Georgia would be Friday, Saturday. But these systems are really tricky, because if you're on the western side of these systems, especially if they get to be stronger. So storms, hurricanes, if they have more of a low pressure center, you get what's called subsidence on the western side, which is sinking air. So you get really, really beautiful dry conditions just outside of those tropical bands of rain. So it's really going to depend on where this low sets up and how strong it is as to whether or not we see rain. Right now, I do think we're going to get some rain from that this weekend, Friday, Saturday, but that's something that we're going to watch closely is this area right here. Again, that's a 30% chance of development, okay? There's also a wave coming off of Africa, okay? And we see this very frequently this time of year. It's called the wave train. You see it right below the X, that little like line of thunderstorms. That's the train that can really spark up hurricanes. I will say this one has a 50% chance of developing into a tropical storm, tropical depression, or possibly even a hurricane. And one of our long-range models, the GFS model, has this thing reaching hurricane strength. And some of the runs do have it impacting Florida. That would be the end of next week. So this is something that we will watch very closely as well. Tropics are heating up, okay? We also have Tropical Storm Dexter, which formed yesterday. It's headed out to sea. It's moving away from America. It's moving over open water. It's essentially going to disintegrate, so it'll be a fish storm. It won't have any impact locally. But I want to remind you guys, we're in August now, okay? This is the month where we see the greatest uptick in tropical activity as the ocean sea surface temperatures warm rapidly. They reach their warmest right in the second week of September. That's when we see our max activity. So we are heading towards peak of hurricane season. The next 2 months, August, September, and even October, are usually pretty active, okay? So that's something that we're going to be watching closely. So here's your 7-day forecast. Today and tomorrow look pretty wet. You're not going to see the sun tomorrow. You are going to see the sun on Wednesday. By Wednesday afternoon, the sun comes back out, and I dropped our rain chance through the morning as I got more data in from 50% Wednesday to 40%, now down to 30%. So that is good news. I think we stay mostly dry Thursday. Then again, this weekend, highly dependent upon that tropical system, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Right now, it looks like we could see some tropical waves on Friday, and then that system moves north of us, away from us. But the further east you live in East Georgia, the more likely you are to see more impacts and heavier rain this weekend. Again, this could change a lot. We do not have a grip on these tropical systems until the center of the low forms. The models can't pick up on it. So we're just going to have to wait and see. But that's something that could change our weather a lot by this upcoming weekend. It could end up being very dry. It could end up being very rainy, or we could stay right in the middle where we see some scattered showers. So check back in for updates on that if you have outdoor plans this weekend. I know many of you probably weren't able to get outside last weekend. It just was kind of gross, okay? All right, y'all. So no severe weather through the end of the day today, but it is going to be quite rainy, okay? Enjoy the rest of your day. I will be back tomorrow, 6 a.m. Atlanta News First. I'll see you then.
Stay up to date on your latest weather from the largest team of meteorologists in the Southeast. Download the First Alert Weather app for hour-by-hour forecasts and join us every weekday at 11:30 a.m. on ANF+. You can also text weather to the number on your screen, and we'll send a link directly